Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Gemini February 2017 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing off is, well, as far as February goes, the sun will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 18th, so the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, this could be a strong focus, concentration of energy, and attention put into freedom, independence, and in one's philosophical views. It could be, you're getting away from, of course, from that Capricorn energy, which, of course, was more regimented and more about working within, really about parameters. And really, this is a time when you may really want to shine outside of the box in your philosophical thinking, perhaps in matters, really even with religion, perhaps. This could also be at the same time, this could be a lot of concentration of energy into ingenuity, originality that might be shared with in-laws and could be with grandchildren as well. And really going maybe outside that box, so to speak, in far as traveling and not letting anything prohibit you as far as long distance traveling, I should say. Anyway, next thing off is, well, as far as February goes, the sun will be in Pisces from the 18th until the 28th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, this could be strongly about a strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention put into idealism, compassion, self-sacrifice, perhaps with the dominant parent, which is often the father. Perhaps even with people that are in authority. It could be managers, owners, somebody that might be over you, supervisors. This could also be looking at this. The 10th house is also about our, reputation, our public image, and it's showing a lot of compassion, perhaps to yourself in those matters, and idealism, and really shooting for the stars, so to speak, in those areas. Keep in mind too that the when you look at the Pisces energy could also be malleable. It could be where you might, be willing to bend maybe a little bit more than you should, just to kind of fit in, or maybe just to improve your stature in life, maybe just as far. And it could also be Pisces energy can be, at least on a subconscious level, I believe, copying and replicating others. And being in the 10th house, it could be in order to attain some kind of fame or recognition. And remember that people can often recognize if you're trying to copy somebody in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of times that'll actually be a detriment to you. So it's important to remember that, just to stay in your own identity at this time. Now, next thing off is the new moon will be in Aquarius on February 15th. So the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, Gemini might embark on some new, unusual, or unorthodox, maybe a way of thinking, or philosophical view, I should say. It could be a new course, a new college course, perhaps in something Aquarius-like. It could be aerospace, astronomy, for example, astrology, computers, or electronics. And also, really about not having anything inhibit you as far as your philosophical outlook goes. This could be a time when you're breaking free from any maybe restrictions you might have had, or anything that might have been prohibiting you from thinking in terms of having your own philosophical outlook, and also perhaps maybe even in some kind of religious outlook as well. And also about even maybe could be the start of a friendship, perhaps with somebody that might be a foreigner, or maybe, like, say, if applicable, if you have in-laws and grandchildren, if they, you might be starting more on a friendship level, beginning, as opposed, to just feeling like a family member. You might start to see one of these people maybe as a friend as well. It might be the embarking on a great friendship with one of them. So those are some things to look at as far as that goes. Now, the next thing off is, As far as February goes, Mercury will be in Aquarius from the 1st until the 18th. So the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time, this could be about perhaps a lot of original and unique, unorthodox, maybe philosophies at this time. This could be about a lot of perhaps expression of new ideas and concepts, perhaps with foreigners. It could be original ideas connected maybe with the law, with perhaps with long distance traveling. This could be a time too, looking at this when you're talking about maybe Mercury in Aquarius and you're talking about the ninth house. This could also be a lot of communications or more communications with friends. And they could be about religion, things of a philosophical nature. And remember, too, that this is also, I mean, Mercury could be about short journeys as well. So you could be maybe more, you could be involved with some short journeys that are done with a lot of this Aquarius like selfless energy. And it might be doing things, maybe the journeys are taken to increase your knowledge, to educate yourself somehow beyond high school. So those are some things to look at as far as this goes. Now, next thing off, Mercury will be in Pisces as far as February goes from the 18th until the 28th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time, this could be a lot more about very strong idealistic thinking and connected perhaps with people in positions of authority. It could be connected with the father, perhaps, the dominant parent, which is often the father. Also, I mean, Mercury in Pisces can also be somewhat ambiguous and confusing, and maybe some communications with people that are prominent in your career. That it could be the dominant parent. It could also be people in authority. These people, maybe you might be coming across as a little bit nebulous in the way you're communicating, and maybe the other way around as well. Maybe messages are unclear from people that are 10th house related. I mean, these are some things to look at as far as this goes. Now, Mercury in Pisces in 10th house, this could also be about maybe doing more, maybe communication connected with photography. And this could be, it could be done perhaps with the dominant parent. It could be with people in authority, maybe people that figure prominently in your career. And also the thinking might be somewhat very idealistic in career-related matters, in ways to improve or that may impact your reputation and your public image as well. And anyway, well, the next thing off is Venus will be in Aquarius as far as February goes from the 1st until the 10th. So the ninth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, if Gemini is unattached, first off, this could be about perhaps Gemini might meet someone that could be a prospective or potential significant other, or could be romantic partner. It could be in a long distance journey. It may be with a sun, moon, or ascendant. Somebody that has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Aquarius, or somebody that simply embodies those characteristics. It could be somebody rather unconventional, unorthodox, unique, unusual. It could be an innovator or somebody in some Aquarius-like field, such as computers, electronics, and esoteric subject. This could also be, too, where one may be making maybe unanticipated funds through some kind of foreign travel. It could be something connected with the law. Maybe something comes in from something of a legal nature unexpectedly, or in some extemporaneous or spontaneous manner. And also, too, this could be a love that you may encounter. That could be somebody that you have a love as a friend type philosophy, or friend first philosophy with this person. And also, this could also be about enjoyment of Aquarius-like things with an in-law, with grandchildren. It could be something connected with innovations, new technology, even with a grandchild, especially a very young grandchild, model rocketry as far as like a hobby or some kind of form of enjoyment. So anyway, next thing off is as far as February goes, Venus will be in Pisces from the 10th until the 28th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, Gemini needs to look at this, well, to be careful not to maybe come across as like maybe being or maybe showing a deceptive charm in order maybe to impress or appease maybe the just maybe because they want something connected, maybe with the dominant parent, which is often the father or authority figures, and in doing this to maybe to try to get something. Because remember, Gemini on the negative side in a negative manifestation can be somewhat conniving, so it's important not to use this to really to meet one's ends. But at the same time, Gemini needs to be careful and prudent about perhaps unrealistic spending, and maybe doing so maybe to propel oneself and for as far as reach one's career attainments and ambitions. And sometimes their spending might be it could be a little bit too much, or maybe it might be not enough. And a lot of it, I think, depends on the aspects that this makes to one's natal planets in the chart. If this is something where, say if it makes a conjunction to Saturn or an adverse aspect to Saturn in your natal chart, it could indicate maybe unrealistic, restrictive type spending, and not spending nearly enough you need to. And then it could also go the other way. Say Venus and Pisces transit makes a conjunction to your Jupiter, for natal Jupiter. This could be something where you might spend an exorbitant amount of money that would be very unrealistic. So anyway, and also on career, on attaining maybe greater stature in life, notoriety, and career-related matters. So anyway, next thing off is as far as February goes, Mars will be in Sagittarius. So this is the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, this could suggest that perhaps the relationships in general, a significant other, or maybe someone you're in a business partnership with, could be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious at this time. It could be with a lot of this Sagittarius, like veritable truth and perhaps philosophical differences with these people. And this situation with open adversaries may be even more contentious and acrimonious than usual, and it can be with that wholehearted, veritable Sagittarius-like truth that is blended in with this. And the thing about this is that Mars can often be strongly about using a lot of like fearlessness and courage. So this could be a time where if you're confronting open adversaries, you may be doing so with a lot of this fortitude and a lot of courage as well. At the same time, when you're talking Mars and Sagittarius and 7th house energy, well, this could be also about unleashing anger or really an energy, perhaps through something outdoors or some kind of vigorous sports exercise that could be done perhaps with a significant other, with others in general, or it could be somebody somebody you might know in a business partnership that maybe you have some kind of friendship with as well. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Jupiter will still be in Scorpio, of course, so the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, this could be, keep in mind that Jupiter is paradoxical. It is really very benign and benevolent, but it also can have a propensity to expand and enlarge issues, and this could increase some surreptitious and sometimes maybe even nefarious activity in one's workplace. So it's very important to be careful as far as this goes, Gemini. Also, there could be an increase in health issues. It could be something connected with Scorpio, like such as something with the pelvic or private area. So I mean, those are some things to look at as far as this goes. Another thing could be is that Jupiter could be about luck and fortune, of course. So this could be about maybe some luck and fortune in one's perhaps really in one's employment life. It can be through digging deep, going beyond the superficial, and really seeing through subterfuge, perhaps of employees, and also really about it. They could create their own luck as far as health related matters go, because Scorpio energy can be about digging deep and getting to the bottom maybe of some health issues. So those are some things to look at as far as this goes. And this could be a time where you incorporate a lot of jocularity into your daily routine, but it could be more Scorpio, like with a little more sarcasm and a little very subtle type humor. So anyway, next thing up is Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the 8th houses will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini at this time. So for Gemini at this time, Gemini might feel perhaps some limitations or restrictions in making some kind of major change or transformation, which of course could perhaps lead to some kind of Capricorn-like despondency and feeling melancholy. This could be a time where Gemini feels their support system. It could be whether it's some kind of monetary support or moral or emotional support can be really diminished at this time, and it may be where you're feeling this Capricorn despondency again, but it could also be where you see people as being very cold at the same time, since we're talking about Capricorn energy. In some cases, this could be also about taking care of a debilitated or sickly person that may be someone that you're involved in an intimate or sexual relationship as well. And when you're talking about Saturn in 8th house, the libido might actually be diminished as well. I actually have this transit going on in my 8th house right now. And I mean, I had it during part of the time when Saturn was in Sagittarius, but I think now that it's in Capricorn, it even makes me feel even, it makes me feel even more despondent, disconsolate because of that. So there is a little bit difference with the sign. I understand Saturn is generational, but at the same time, I still think you can feel a little difference when you're having a transit, and it's even in some cases when it's generational and it switches from one sign to the next. So anyway, next thing up is Uranus will still be in Aries, so the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, Gemini might be experiencing a lot of erratic and sporadic activity in matters with friends and acquaintances. And it could also be, you're talking about, Uranus could be unpredictable energy. It could be unpredictable energy in those areas with friends, acquaintances. And also, in some cases, this could be about perhaps Gemini expressing certain ingenuity that could be tied into their aspirations and goals. Maybe being an innovator could be a goal or aspiration for Gemini at this time. And Gemini might also, looking at this is about, you're talking about the 11th house is the future. And you look at, and Uranus, this could be this could be where something Uranus-like maybe plays some kind of role in Gemini's future. It could be something connected with computers, electronics, or innovation, or just something that could be Uranus-like, such as an esoteric subject like astrology. So anyway, well, the next thing up is that Neptune will still be in Pisces, of course, so the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, this could be about perhaps, Neptune could be very dissolving and dissipating energy. In some cases, this could be the dissolving or dissipation of one's career, sometimes reputation in some cases. At the same time, this could be where Gemini might do something Neptune-like that could be career-related. It could be something connected with the metaphysical, which includes astrology, something with photography, chemistry, or something with spirituality, something that could be Neptune related. And in some cases too, I mean, the 10th house is the dominant parent, so in some instances this could be about the dominant parent maybe becoming involved in some kind of drugs or alcohol to some degree. And it could also be about maybe where the dominant parent maybe disappears for a little bit of time, at least maybe during part of the time that you're talking about Neptune and the 10th house. So anyway, well, next thing up is Pluto will still be in Capricorn. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, well, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, most people don't want me to say this, but Pluto is about death. I mean, they don't want to say the dreaded D word. I know there's people out there that are, you know, that might think it's being a little bit morose or morbid, but you know I'm going to talk about it. So anyway, in some cases, this could be the death of, literal death of somebody you're in an intimate relationship with. It could be a sexual partner. A lot of times, too, this could simply be maybe in some case, which could be positive, it could be that figurative death of taxes, or maybe you had some liability towards some insurance matter or some kind of debt. Maybe you're able to eradicate and obliterate at this time. At the same time, I mean, this could also be about power struggles with somebody you're in a situation with shared resources with. It could be with a sexual partner. Also, this is about often applying power toward making a major change or transformation in your life. So anyway, and it could be done in some cases through something Pluto-like. It could be something through, you know, something occult, which could include astrology, the supernatural. So anyway, next thing up is the North Node will still be in Leo. So the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini at this time. So for Gemini at this time, well, North Node in transit can often be about what we have to confront. So this could be, in some cases, having to confront maybe an overly arrogant and or domineering sibling. It could be somebody in your neighborhood. It could be a neighbor or somebody that's in your general communications. At the same time, could also be about having to deal with perhaps extravagance, maybe in matters with transportation. It could be your vehicle. This could be about something sibling or neighbor related, or it might be where you actually have to show certain extravagance or be magnanimous in those areas that I just talked about, as far as siblings and neighbors, and perhaps even maybe things connected with local, you know, your transportation in general, where maybe you feel like you have to do this. And anyway, and it's also could be at the same time being more extroverted and gregarious in your general communications as well, and maybe even spending. This could be really about yourself, maybe being wanting to communicate more with a lot more confidence and self-assuredness. So anyway, next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will still be in Capricorn, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Gemini. So at this time for Gemini, this could be about, in some cases, I mean, the Black Moon Lilith can be about an unveiling and a revelation. So in some cases, this could be about a sexual partner that might be showing some ruthless or tyrannical or overambitious qualities, or maybe showing very undemonstrative or cold qualities at the same time, and maybe limited or restricted libido. At the same time, This could be about where maybe something comes out that you didn't want to unveil about yourself, where maybe there might be some restrictions or limitations as far as maybe sexually what could be going on with you, whether it might be your sex life or what you're able to do from a sexual standpoint, whether it could be something of a health nature, or just something where maybe your sexual life for other reasons that just has certain limitations and restrictions and has caused certain Capricorn-like despondency at this time. And also this could be about maybe some kind of depressing tax or insurance situation that might come out, or debt that you didn't really want to be unveiled, that it might be somewhat embarrassing or something and you did not want it revealed. Keep in mind too that the Black Moon Lilith can also be about a formidable adversary, and this could be somebody that could be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or somebody that simply embodies those characteristics. And it could be somebody that might be involved with your taxes, or maybe shared resources, or it could be somebody you're having a sexual relationship or an intimate relationship with. So anyway, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces. So at this time for Gemini, the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So this could be a time where Gemini might be going through some kind of emotional maybe suffering. It could be maybe due to a dominant parent, or maybe somebody that might be in might be an authority figure that might be going through maybe some drugs or alcohol, or a lot of times this could just be where Gemini might just be dealing with just some chaos and confusion in their career, and it might be causing them, some kind of sorrow or some kind of sadness at this time. And at the same time as well, there can be things that maybe Gemini is dealing with of a deceptive nature that might have maybe impacted their reputation and public image to their detriment, and they're having difficulty perhaps in dealing with this. In some cases, this could be some Pisces-like issues that may be really affecting them negatively or adversely as far as their career goes. It could be something connected with the feet, or with the toes, or even with the lymphatic system, and maybe just succumbing maybe to general like Pisces-like lethargy, which might be tied into some kind of sorrows in one's career. So anyway, at the same time, remember that Chiron is the wounded healer. So I mean, this could be about where a Gemini might be having difficulty in dealing with this Chiron, and you're talking 10th house energy, but at the same time they might be able to help others going through comparable situations, and they could do so perhaps with that Pisces like empathy, that compassion, and self-sacrifice. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Gemini February 2017 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Cancer February 2017 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.